Good morning, Binanceans. Welcome to this week's Binance Beach episode. I'm stoked to be joining you again. And this week we've got Dave Haslop of the Australian Crypto Convention, who's going to be jumping on, chatting markets, and sharing a bit more about the largest crypto meetup in the Southern Hemisphere. Welcome, Dave. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me on, man. It's good to be back.
Beautiful. Thank you to everyone this week who has jumped on and given us some feedback on Binance Beach. We've got a really cool little campaign at the moment giving you the opportunity to win one BNB by giving us a few thoughts and answering some questions and making some suggestions for improvement. But I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But thanks for your feedback on the video and audio. Nance has hooked me up with a new mic. Thank you, Binance. So yeah, let us know if this is better this week, and let's kick into markets. Let's talk crypto, Dave.
You know, it's my favorite thing, man.
Let's do it. So our Bitcoin price this week, we are down about 6%, 6.7% on the week, which is a bit of an interesting one. And we'll dive into why we've had a bit of a drop here. We were seeing some pretty stable performance earlier in the week, sitting around the $61,000 mark. And then we had, interestingly, a really positive sign in terms of US CPI or US inflation, which came in lower than expected at 2.9%, which I believe could be the lowest print since pre-COVID. But then we had, which normally, so I should explain this further. Normally, this would be pretty bullish for the Bitcoin price and for risk markets, because the lower our inflation rate gets, the more likely we are to see rate cuts, potentially in September in the US, which is generally pretty bullish for crypto markets. But we've seen, obviously, that price drop since that announcement. So it seems a bit contradictory. What is driving that downward pressure? It seems to be, as reported by Arkham Intelligence, the US government moving around about 10,000 Bitcoin that was originally seized from the Silk Road case. And that was moved to Coinbase Prime. Often when the government moves Bitcoin from cold storage onto exchanges, it's seen as potentially a bearish move, because moving your coins to an exchange often indicates sell intentions. But I don't think it's necessarily even just the 10,000 Bitcoin movement, which was bearish. Often when we see this speculation around particularly US government or large institutions potentially indicating that they might sell Bitcoin, then we see traders try and front run that opportunity and sell in advance. So even though we had some potentially bullish information come out around rate cuts, off the back of that inflation data, we definitely saw a drop in prices due to that speculation that there could potentially be some sell pressure from the US government. Looking further across crypto and looking at Bitcoin dominance, which is definitely something we want to start looking at on a weekly basis. Thanks for those who gave us feedback for more detailed market breakdown. If we look at the last year, Bitcoin dominance continues to grow, which is generally an indicator that there's more confidence in Bitcoin and less confidence in alts and the rest of the market. And often generally it is an indicator of not necessarily bearish sentiment, but of bearish sentiment on alts specifically. So we can see about a year ago, we were sitting around 48% for Bitcoin dominance. Now we've spiked up to 56%, and we seem to be growing as well. We seem to be having a pretty positive trend for Bitcoin dominance, particularly even in the last month. And so that tends to indicate that even though we are on the risk on end of the assets, that there's a bit of a risk off attitude in crypto at the moment. And that's reflected too in the fear and greed index, which this week had a bit of a bounce back from lows around that Arkham Intelligence report earlier in the week, but we're still sitting around kind of neutral and even slightly on the fear side of the index, which is potentially indicative of why Bitcoin dominance is up for the month. Across the rest of the markets, it was a pretty down week across the board. Solana was down, XRP was down, Toncoin was down. Toncoin was up, which was, I think, a sign of strength for this ecosystem. There's also really interesting stuff going on in Telegram at the moment with mini games. Hamster Combat is potentially going to be doing their airdrop soon, which should be pretty interesting for that ecosystem. That's been heralded as potentially quite a large airdrop. But across the board, most of the other tokens we're seeing kind of red performance from the altcoins. And the other side of markets this week was that Harris has surged ahead in the polymarket prediction markets, although I'm a little bit skeptical on this report, given that we've seen a very significant trend in the silent Trump voter, both in 2016 and in 2020. So it'll be interesting to see whether polymarket is picking up this phenomenon for this US election, or whether potentially there's a stronger movement for Trump kind of under the blankets that we might see come out in November. Dave, there's a bunch to digest there, but how are you feeling on markets at the moment? Are you bullish or are you bearish for the rest of the year?
I'm still bullish, man. Like every year we see, September especially is kind of a nice edge month for Bitcoin and any kind of risk on asset, really. So I still think that at the moment the markets are playing a bit cautious. We're a little risk off. We've seen what happened with Japan last week and sort of the Black Monday, I think they're calling it, in terms of the overall market, stock market. Like NASDAQ took a big hit, but it's had a big bounce back as well. So I do think that, traditionally speaking, 6 months after a halving is usually where we see most of the liquidity start to come back in and we start to see retail markets come back in. So, we were front run this year a lot by the Bitcoin ETFs, like the price around the Bitcoin ETF announcement back in January sort of really started to surge in late February, early March. So I think that the halving or expected halving price action was definitely front run by those the Bitcoin ETFs. But generally speaking, we don't see huge movement until 6 months after the halving anyway. So which will put us in around October, November, and that's where I would expect to see some more volume come back into the market, more retail volume as well. So it's good for us, the timing wise, in November. It'd be great to see some really positive price action on Bitcoin and really starting to steamroll ahead. But overall at the moment, a little bit risk neutral, risk off across the board. So, but it's not enough to have me super spooked or to be honest, that even the whole market doesn't seem as spooked as what it has in previous years with sort of black swan events and things like that. So, Bitcoin's held its own pretty strong. It's still ranging. It's been ranging for months now. It hasn't really broken below some really key price levels that would be huge cause for concern, that would, dive us into a bearish market for another 2 years. So I think we're holding on pretty strong, all things considered, and I'm still bullish for the rest of the year.
It's great to hear. Yeah, uncertainty definitely feels like the name of the game at the moment between the US election, between some obviously events last week in macro. It really does feel like we are holding on as a market and waiting to see what's going to kind of unfold for the rest of the year. So yeah, I'll be really interested to see how we close out, particularly in November.
Released as well, and the US elections coming up. I think that the debt ceiling is supposed to be raised again in January next year. So that'll be super bullish as well. So I think everyone's you're in the wait trade at the moment. Everyone's just waiting to see what happens and determining, whether they're risk on, risk off, or just going to sell it all and go home and go work at McDonald's. So
hopefully not. I like my job at Binance. It's a pretty cool company to work at. Let's talk about AusCryptoCon, because this is one of the absolute highlights of the year from a local industry perspective. It's definitely been my favorite event that we've had in the industry for the past 2 years. I've been stoked to be a part of it. But yeah, what is AusCryptoCon? Who's coming? And I'm going to share a bit more about our plans for AusCryptoCon as well. So let's get into it. ACC, Dave.
So yeah, AusCryptoCon. We're in our third year this year, and pretty excited to hopefully be running an event in our first bull market, which would be great. The last two events we've run have sort of been just off the back of a bull market or in a total bear market. So pretty excited to be running this year in what would seem to be a bullish market. So that's good. We've grown year on year, which is excellent, and we're now Australia's largest crypto event, and even the largest crypto event in the Southern Hemisphere. So yeah, we're hoping that we can achieve up to 10,000 attendees this year, and we've got some great companies like Binance and many other industry experts that are joining us at the event. So it should be good. I'm really looking forward to it, and it's closing in very quickly.
Absolutely. I've been helping put together our plans for the event, and it's been a bit of a realization, particularly this week, that we're now only about 3 months out, but we've got some really cool stuff that we're working on. In previous years, we've had the Bitcoin button, which is like a push button game where you need to guess the Bitcoin price. That went off last year. We had over 1,000 people alone play that game. Yeah, it was awesome. So we're bringing that back again. We've got some other fun games. We've got a massive ton of swag that we're bringing, which will be really cool, so that all of our users can go home with a t-shirt or a cap. We've got caps, we've got hoodies, we've got like sweatshirts. I've got cards. We've got so much cool stuff that we'll be giving away. So definitely come and see us for some swag. And then we're going to have some really cool speakers too. We have an international member of the Binance global team, quite high profile, who will be coming to the event, but we're not going to share the name of that person just yet. Stay tuned there. And yeah, we'll be hosting other panels, jumping on panels, sharing some wisdom, and yeah, just talking crypto and Bitcoin. It's going to be an awesome time.
Absolutely, man. And you should mention as well that the Binance merch is such good merch. Like, I've got so much of it, right? But you can't buy it, yeah? Am I right in saying that? You can't buy Binance merch. You can only get it by receiving it directly from Binance for free. So yeah, make sure you grab some Binance merch, guys, because it is really good quality stuff.
And not only that, you have to come along and you've got to win something to get this Binance merch. So it's a bit of a medal of honor as well. You've got to be on top of the Bitcoin button. You've got to be one of the better guessers, or you've got to beat someone at one of the games we've got on the booth. So you don't just get this stuff for free. You've got to earn it. But I think our 220 million global users, global community, and our over 1 million users in Australia, it's a fantastic community. And just by being part of that, I think they've all earned the right to rep the logo, wear the shirt, and be a part of an awesome event. Is there anything else you can share for ACC this year? Anything else you want to tease our audience with?
Well, I'm not going to tease anything. I'm not going to drop any alpha or anything like that yet. So you guys will have to wait for the announcements to come out. But obviously, we just announced that the after party this year is a huge super yacht after party. So we've got some pretty big surprises planned for that as well. So for those that are keen to party on after the event's over, then tickets are very, very limited. It's already half sold out. So make sure you jump on board and grab your after party tickets there as well. Obviously, the team from Binance will be there. I think for us, we're targeting two different audience sets here for the event. We want to bring the crypto community together. So we're going to see the usual crowds that we see, right? We're going to see all the same faces. And it's my favorite part of the year because it's a gigantic room filled with crypto knowledge and information and all my crypto friends. And there's so many people that are in the space that get together and just have a great time. And then the other side of that is we want to educate people. We want to activate that retail interest. So we're getting more and more people that are becoming crypto curious that are saying, hang on a second, I don't actually think Bitcoin's a scam. It's now on Wall Street. It's a regulated asset. There's got to be more to this than just illegal money, right? So we're getting more and more interest from the community. So this is an opportunity to actually come out to an event and meet people like Liam and the Binance team and actually get to talk to them face to face. And ordinarily you won't get that opportunity all year round. You just don't get that. So to come out and talk to someone and touch things that are tangible, sit in a theater and learn from experts and learn this market, it's an opportunity that you really want to grab hold of. And look, for the sake of $80, you'll more than get an ROI on the event for your ticket cost, because the knowledge that you'll get, the networks and the connections that you will make, and the people you get to meet, it's a really good weekend, and I strongly encourage everyone to get out and learn as much as possible.
That's a really cool point, actually. Last year, I met a lot of people who came past our booth and had a chat with me or with team members who were very new to crypto and were coming along to discover and to learn. And they get to come and have a chat with the people locally who are leading the industry, which is amazing. And they get to come and see in the flesh the people who are, working on building the apps, the products that they use. And they get to ask questions, provide feedback. That was really cool to see a bunch of people coming along who weren't deep in the industry, into crypto, who are coming along to learn. I really encourage people to follow that this year, because the more we can educate people, education is such a core part of this community and part of this industry. The more we can bring people along, educate them in the right context and the right way, the better that is for the whole industry and for the whole community and for crypto and community in general. So definitely really keen to start to have a chat again this year with people who are almost brand new to the space. That was definitely one of the coolest parts of last year's event. Yeah.
And it's very diverse too. I mean, I was surprised by this a lot on our Gold Coast event, how diverse the audience was, not just through men and women, but it was age groups. And we've seen that again last year, where we had 8-9-year-old kids that were talking to employees of their favorite exchanges or their favorite projects. And you've got 10-year-olds that are investing their pocket money into crypto. And that's no joke. They really are. There was one guy in the Gold Coast that took his son up to the guys at Coinly and said, "What's the best tax advice you can give me? Because my son's made tens of thousands of dollars and he's 10 years old."
That's awesome.
That was really cool to see and hear. And then last year, I must have had 4 or 5 different elderly couples that would have easily been in their 70s or 80s that were coming up to me and thanking me for the event, asking me for advice, and asking, who's the best person to talk to about X, Y, and Z. So you've even got the older generations and the boomers that are looking at their superannuations or their disposable assets and say, well, where can I park this for future generations? And crypto is starting to pique people's interest, even in that generation. So, look, my dad, who is a full skeptic, even he is telling people about Bitcoin now. So it's doing something. It's getting the message across the board, all different age groups and backgrounds, and that's the whole point of it. That's the goal. So, yeah, it's a big win for us.
Awesome. Well, please come and join us. Please come and say hi at the Binance booth at the event. Come grab some merch. Come and say hi. And if you are looking for a ticket for the event, keep an eye on our Twitter this week. We're definitely going to be doing some ticket giveaways over the next couple of weeks. Make sure you keep an eye on our socials. You might be able to score yourself a free ticket to the event as well. I am going to move on to another cool thing that we're running this week. If you'd like to win one BNB, one Binance coin, you can do that with us this week just by giving us a bit of feedback on this series. We're running a cool little survey, which you can find on our Twitter or on our Binance Australia blog, where we ask you to watch a few episodes, answer a few trivia questions with some of the amazing, or in response to some of the amazing insight we've had from the wizard guests that we've hosted so far on Binance Beach, and then make a suggestion to improve the potty. We've seen some really funny ones so far, including memes of the day. The Sharknado one was hilarious. I loved that. And of course, improving the audio and video, which we've tried to do this week. So jump on, let us know how we're doing, answer a few questions, and you'll go to potentially win one BNB, which is worth around 700 Aussie dollars at the moment. So that's a pretty good prize. That's not too bad. The other exciting thing that we've got this week is the Binance Accelerator Program, social media and community for Australia and New Zealand announcement. So we are looking for our next local team member or our next local Binance intern to join the team. You'll be working directly with myself and the rest of the awesome Binance Australia and New Zealand team. You can be based in New Zealand or based in Australia, and you'll be working to help us basically expand on our social media, our Twitter, so you can have some fun with that, and our community more generally. This is an awesome job. It's full-time. It is a paid internship on a fixed contract, but you get the chance to travel, attend events, and most importantly, to wear this shirt. It's an incredible opportunity to enter the industry, get a foot in the door, work with the best company in crypto, and expand your own horizons, learn from some of the best people. We have an exceptional team, and it's a real privilege to be a part of it. So if you are interested, and if you sound like this, if you feel like this role sounds like you, please jump on our Twitter. You can find the link, go and apply. Let us know why you think you'd be great for the role. It's going to be definitely open for someone who's either currently studying or a recent graduate. We are aiming the internship program at someone who is kind of new to the industry. So that's going to be the best fit if you're not necessarily new to the industry, but you're currently looking for the first step in your career. This is going to be a really great role for you. And that's about it for this week. I'll finish with a disclaimer. Please note this discussion includes insights from non-affiliated third parties and key opinion leaders. Binance provides this platform for informational and educational purposes only and is not responsible for any of the content or insights provided. This information should not be considered as financial, tax, or investment advice from Binance. Thanks so much for joining us, Dave. It was great to chat about the event. And yeah, we'll see everyone there. Please come along. Come get some merch.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on, mate. Well, I'll see you guys in November.
Sounds good. See you, Binanceans. We'll catch you next week.